rights are, and to understand that you're not alone in your fight. That's the main thing. That this is, as I mentioned, is a crisis. It's actually a national epidemic. And we are the remedy for this epidemic that we're in the middle of. My story, many of you may have seen my face. I was the one who was a victim of a 3 a.m. eviction, where 4 generations were put out of their home, despite the fact that there is a case in federal court for an unlawful foreclosure because my home was securitized, which means my mortgage actually changed hands 3 times in a 6-month period. So I know that there are things that were done that were, as we say, something in the milk wasn't clean, it was buttermilk, okay? Now, I'm in this fight. My main goal is to legislate after our evictions. There's no place anyone in America can go at 3 a.m. in the morning. No place. Not a shelter, not a hotel, and even a close friend. That's a problem. Okay? My other goal is for Georgia to become a judicial foreclosure state. And that would mean that the law would be more on the homeowner's side, give them more time to get things in order, and to call the banks on, they would have to follow more procedures to give you exactly where you are in your process. Not just publish something in a newspaper for 4 weeks and say, you gotta go. It wouldn't work like that any longer. It has been a hardship for my family. We were severed for about a week, but God has been good. And I want to take a moment to thank Him that me and my family are back together again under one roof, because I understand that this fight is not about me. It's not about individuals. It's about every one of us to show a way that no one else has to go through what I went through. And that is my goal. I'm here to offer my resources, offer whatever knowledge that I can, because He promised in the end we would be victorious. And we will be victorious if we stay together. If we run, He said, if we run, don't get weary, and walk and never faint. He will help us to mount up on wings as eagles, and we will soar over our enemies. I want to thank you for this time. I want to call the next person up, and remember to give Him thanks every day for all that you have. Thank
you. Good morning. Okay, no matter how many times I tell my story, my heart gets to brushing. All these new faces. I'm just pleased to be here, and thanks everyone for coming out. Thanks Rob and Joshua Davis for their great presentation. And my story is basically, it started the end of November 2011. We had just found out that my grandma was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and the doctors called us all up and to tell my family, you know, it's time to wrap it up. There's nothing else I can do for her. And spare me. So 2 weeks before that, we had just found out that the house was in foreclosure. And we all thought that we could fix this. It's something that we could do to fix this problem. So we didn't want to worry her while she was sick. So we all just talked amongst each other and was just like, everybody that have a job, we're going to work extra hours, we're going to get this done, we're going to get this over so we can live again. November the 29th, she passed. At the house I've been at since I was in the 3rd grade. She took me as a child, and my mama told someone who came to show my family some condolences that my mama just left. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I just found out my home is in foreclosure. Whoever that lady was, she got in touch with my state senator, Senator Ford, who's not here, but I hope that he show up. And he brought on Occupy Atlanta. Now, all they told me that we just want to fight with you, not for you. And as long as you, whatever you can do, all we ask is for you to stand up and fight for your home. So what did that mean? So they were just like, refuse to leave. And we were just like, well, we don't have nowhere to go, so that's our only option. So immediately then, December the 6th, they set up tents in front of my front yard, and that meant that this home is occupied and this family is refusing not to leave their home. My state senator got in my paperwork with the help of Occupy Atlanta's long nights, hours of work and trying to figure this all out. What happened? They found out that the bank had gave my grandma a predatory loan of $300,000 at the age of 62. Not even seeing if she can even, what's the word? Afford the loan. Yeah, not even going and see if she can afford the loan or anything. No, nothing. They just gave her the loan. Whatever she got the loan for, hey, she got it. We still don't know it to this day. But they found out it was predatory and it was continuously from people just ripping my grandmother off and taking advantage of her. And I think to this day that this same situation is the reason why my grandma is not here today. Whatever the reason is, I feel like she is in a better place and she's watching down on me. So that even took me to stand up, and the least I can do is to stand up and fight for my grandma's house. So what I did was I told my family, well, we gotta do this. They stood alongside of me in front of TVs, interviews, telling that these folks took advantage of my grandma. I'm not going nowhere. She's been here since 1953. My house was first built in 1921. Said, I'm not going nowhere. They stood alongside of me. We marched to Chase Bank, every Chase Bank that we could get to. One time we shut it down, five different Chase Banks in one day, and told them that I wasn't leaving. And then they said, well, look, for this girl not to come back to my bank and shame my bank, we want to keep her in her home, but she got to promise not to come back to my bank with all these people. I said, well, get in touch with my lawyer, and it's a deal. That's it. So all we've been asking you the same time. They even got in touch with my state senator. My state senator said he played straight crazy. I don't know what I can do for her to stop coming to your bank. I just don't. Joshua Davis, the one who's sitting in the front, he did a marvelous job of keeping my home. Today I can say that with all this word, and even being willing to stand up and fight for my home, even being willing to go to jail and tell the bank, I want my house deed back. I want to live again. Just give me my house back so I can keep my grandma's memory on that 404 Glen Iris Drive. So today I can say that with the help of them all, I will be able to live again.
I wasn't looking for my 15 minutes of fame. I just wanted to save my home. If this is the cause that I spend my 15 minutes on, amen to that. I'm happy to do it. I am still in the midst of the process of trying to save my home. I still live there. I still sleep there every night. My dispossessor hearing is scheduled for next Friday. Still hoping I get to stay in my home. Still working on it. I made a note to call Mr. Davis Monday morning. A couple of ideas, a couple of things that have been suggested to me and brought to my attention. I want to talk with him. I'm still working and still fighting. And there are other people who amaze me every day that they're working and fighting with me. I just look at this and I think, who, me? I don't think of myself as worthy. I don't think of myself as exceptional in this respect. I just want to save my home. I could tell you my story. I've told it before, but I chose to use my 3 minutes here by just telling you what I said and telling you how wonderful the people who are helping me with this are Tim, Allie, Shaw, others, Lady, people like Chris, people who I do not know, who 18, almost 2,000 people across the nation signed a petition telling Wells Fargo they want me to modify my loan. I don't know 2,000 people. I don't know 2,000 people. People who have taken time to place calls to Wells Fargo. Occupy organizes an action at my bank, and 20 or 30 people show up. I try to personally shake hands and thank every one of them. I can't keep up. It's too many people. I am just humbled at the power that's being brought to bear on my behalf. And I know that that power, the PowerPoint presentation that had those balls, the multi-trillion-dollar ball and the multi-billion-dollar ball, and how much smaller it was, and then the littler one, and the littler one, and the littler one. Those balls can represent millions of dollars, but I can tell you, or trillions of dollars, I can tell you that those same balls that you saw up there can just as accurately, just as thoroughly represent a little bit of power that came to bear for me, and a little bit more for me and Chris and the other people who've been introduced as superstars, and a little bit more that could represent the power that everybody in this room can bring to bear, and the bigger one that can represent what can happen when we partner up with other groups in other cities, and the huge ball that could represent 99% of 285 million Americans. Thank you.
Giving honor to the Spirit of God, thank you, Jesus Christ, for this chance. I'm going to quote this scripture first. It said, trust not in oppression, and become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them. Psalm 62:10. This is the way the world is going. I was evicted in 2008. I had a first and a second mortgage. And now I was looking at it, and they still got the second mortgage, still got my name on the credit report. And they offered me a payoff settlement statement. My house was transferred from different mortgages, from different mortgage companies also. And they put in a payoff statement that asked me not to sue anybody. If I can't sue anybody, then I don't owe you nothing. You want your money, put my name on the credit report. And they got, to me, that's a bad contract. That's predatory lending, but they told me that was standard. Standard, to ask somebody to sue you and you still owe them, that seems like bondage to me. And that's what the world is seeking to do to us. And also, when I was evicted, I was thinking that it was God's will to help the homeless people. And so I saw on the computer where the houses were cheaper. It was getting the foreclosures. The house was very cheap. And I said, this house seems like it would be this for the homeless people can afford houses like this. And so I went to the shelter. And when I went to the shelter, they had a sign up saying, one room, $500 a month. The share room, $300 a month. This is for homeless people offering this kind of money. It's a rip-off on the country. People often make money off of homeless people to make slaves of them. This is what I see. And so I called the investor up, and I was telling him about the website. He said, said, I don't know about the website. I said, I want to make some money too. He didn't think I should make any money. But he said he should make the money and not me. But I offered him, giving him to make more money in his pocket, but he didn't think money should go in my pocket. That's what the system thinks. The money should go in their pocket and not in your pocket, and you could be doing the work. To me, and they'll tell me I'm selfish. And when I hear people teach like this, they're selfish, but they want to put it on you. They want me to carry their burden, their bills, and forget about your bills. Forget about your responsibilities. Theirs come first. And I'm just looking at this, and when I offered it, then I didn't give it to him. I gave it to the person that was the head of the shelter. And when I gave it to her, she called up and acted like she was trying to help me. Because I'm thinking that because of their name, they would be able to help me. Because I still had a pension check to pay, because they were saying, $100 a month. I could afford $100 a month. I believe that I could because of the money that I was receiving. And so instead of, she gave it to the investor. Because I could tell about how they was, and I heard one man over the shelter say, and she think to get an income for this? That's what he's saying. But he will be helping the homeless people. But this is what he's saying. Trying to get people back into employment to help themselves. That's the goal. But they fight against that goal. Oh, and I think about how God, I just can't help it, but what I just been through it, and then one of the plans, and the one lady told me that was one with me, she said, give it to the Library of Congress. So I wrote the letter, but I didn't, I went to this other man, this pastor, to tell him about my business plan. Showed him how to fight, about the business plan. Then I finally had it copyrighted. But he went and made money off of it. But I couldn't make no money off of it. He wanted to make a deal, saying, but trust me. But the Lord said, I'd be dipping in mud if I trust him. I can't teach people to, trust people to, demolish or destroy somebody else. That's not my goal, to help you destroy other people, to put other people in bondage. But that's what people are doing. They selling out to put other people in bondage, but that's not the goal of Jesus Christ. To put people in bondage. And I just thank Jesus for this chance to lift him up. Because Christ came to bring us life. The devil come to kill, steal, and destroy. That's the work of Satan. That's not the work of Jesus Christ. And I thank God for this chance to lift him up.
My name is Martin Dandridge, and I can remember it like it was yesterday. I'm a twin, and it was Chicago's cold day in the 60s. We were coming from school, and my brother and I were laughing. We was coming back home. We were laughing. We said, this looks like our stuff. And we kept laughing. We got home, and we found out it was our stuff out on the street. That has an effect on you, and you think about it even. I think about it even today. So I know this can happen to anybody, most Americans in this country. In the Atlanta area, I own 6 properties. I didn't own the properties to make money. I own the properties to assist people in houses. When I grew up, I never owned a house. And it was just, I got a joy out of seeing people get Section 8 and get houses. I had to sell 5 of those houses, and I had to walk away from another. It's just a sad situation when people that are renting houses or trying to own houses are being looked upon as being the perpetrator, the person at fault, and you have to have perfect credit. But the banks get bailed out. But what about their credit? Their credit should be terrible at this time if they get bailed out, but we have to have perfect credit. I just, at this time, just want to work with the communities and do all I can to help.
Hello, folks. My name is Robert Anderson. I'm up here from the south side, Henry County, Locust Grove, and they're foreclosing on my house, too. Homeward Residential, is anybody familiar with that company, American Home Mortgage Servicing Incorporated? Yes. That was their father name. Now they've changed over to Homeward Residential. Anyhow, they refuse to take any more payments from me. what is this? You know, when I'm in default, they don't want to take any more payments. They want that whole balance paid off. Now, I went to Home Safe, the hardest hit fund, and actually tried to get that on that program with the D&E group. Does anybody work with them? The D&E group, they're a counseling group that helps you get loan modifications. They work with the lenders and all. Anyhow, I tried to get a program started with them, and after doing all this work, filling out forms, faxing forms, it seems like I was over at Eagles every day, faxing forms, filling out forms. I had to come all the way down here to the IRS building in Atlanta here just to get 3 tax returns stamped, so that you could hand them in, because that Home Safe program is so tight about their regulations. They want the tax returns, every T crossed, every I dotted. They want it all done. They make it so hard you can hardly, get past their regulations. And so, they said, okay, you handed all your stuff in, and then they came up and said, oh, you have a tax lien? A tax lien that's over $10,000? Well, yeah. Okay, well, they have a regulation that, you can't get your package passed because your tax lien, your federal tax lien cannot be over $10,000. What kind of Mickey Mouse crap is this? Really. It's like, if I have a tax lien that's over $10,000, doesn't that mean I'm still in hardship? And then they said, oh, you can't be defaulted back or, missing your payments back for 6 months. 6 months? If I'm in 8 months, doesn't that mean I'm in real hardship? I mean, more than the person who has a 1 to 2 month, back pay on payments. More nonsense. I mean, it doesn't make any rational sense to me to have all these regulations like this. And I think what it is they're just, they're tight at the top, right? I don't know if they're skimming off the top with this or what, but it's ridiculous. Okay, so it's like, that was my experience with the Home Safe program. And what I think we really need to do is gather up together and go down to their headquarters and say, hey, where's my money? Where the hell is my money? Where the hell is our money? That was slated to help us out. Where is it? Whoever is the governing body or the committee, that makes up these rules, we need to talk to these people. We really do. We need to sit them down and go, why are these rules and regulations like this? Why is it so tight that we can't get this money? You have all this money slated to help us out? Why are you holding on to it with a clenched fist? So what we need to do is get down there, I think, in mass numbers, get into their committee or whatever it takes to talk to people. All right, so that's my story